Why does being one of the richest men on Earth feel like being stuck in a group project with the entire planet and no one else is doing their part? Imagine waking up with 10 companies to run, millions of people judging your every tweet, ex-wives in the tabloids, employees leaking emails, and rockets literally exploding mid-air while your rivals laugh in zero gravity. Sounds fun, right? Now imagine your biggest competitor is your own mouth. This is not just a story about a billionaire. This is a story about a man who's trying to save the world, while the world keeps handing him a flaming bag of chaos labeled, "Good luck, genius." So buckle up whether you think he's a visionary, a maniac, or the world's richest Reddit troll. One thing's for sure. Being Elon Musk sucks a lot more than you think. To understand why being Elon Musk isn't all supercars and space rockets, we have to rewind. Not to the billionaire with a flamethrower and a Mars fetish, but to the awkward, bullied kid growing up in apartheid-era South Africa. He was that quiet boy who read encyclopedias for fun and got beaten up so badly he had to be hospitalized. Literally, his nose was broken by a group of kids who thought intelligent was another word for target. Fast forward to young adulthood. Elon escapes to Canada, then to the United States, coding his way out of dorm rooms and sleeping in the office because, as he puts it, there was no money for both rent and food. And yet, the guy launches Zip2, sells it for hundreds of millions, co-founds X.com, which later becomes PayPal, and walks away with a fortune. By now, it sounds like a classic underdog to tech giant arc, but here's where it twists. Instead of retiring to an island or buying a basketball team like a normal rich person, Elon decides to reinvent everything. Electric cars, rockets, solar energy, underground hyperloops, brain chips, internet satellites, AI robots, and, most dangerously, Twitter. Every time he makes $1 billion, he throws it into something riskier. That's not a strategy, that's a midlife crisis with a god complex. But you can't talk about Elon without talking about his obsession with humanity's future. He genuinely believes we're doomed if we don't become a multiplanetary species. And that's noble, if slightly terrifying when the guy funding your spaceship is also tweeting poop emojis at journalists. Elon is a paradox in a human suit. Brilliant, but impulsive. Focused, yet distracted. Publicly worshipped, privately feared. And as the stakes get higher, so do the consequences. Welcome to the Muskiverse, where genius collides with chaos, and every move feels like a mix of Shakespearean drama and Reddit fanfiction. Let's talk about the chaos behind the curtain. Because if Elon Musk's life were a movie, the conflict wouldn't just be one villain. It would be a never-ending battle royale with a rotating cast of enemies. Governments, billionaires, labor unions, journalists, former employees, and occasionally, Elon Musk himself. First, let's start with the rockets. SpaceX was a joke in the beginning, not metaphorically. NASA literally laughed. Their first 3 launches? Epic failures. One exploded. One spun out of control. Another went up and immediately came back down like a toddler jumping off a couch. Elon put everything he had into that 4th launch. Everything. He said if it failed, SpaceX was finished. But it worked, just barely. That rocket saved the company. It also proved something else, that Elon wasn't afraid to lose everything. Again and again, if it meant proving the world wrong. But while SpaceX was taking off, Tesla was crashing into a wall of debt. At one point, Elon admitted Tesla was just weeks from bankruptcy. He was sleeping on the factory floor, micromanaging production, and allegedly firing people for looking at their phones. Some employees praised him as a relentless innovator. Others described it more like a cult, but with more lithium. And then came the infamous tweet. "Am considering taking Tesla private at $420. Funding secured." Except, funding was not secured. The SEC wasn't thrilled. They sued. He had to step down as Tesla's chairman, pay a fine, and agree to tweet under supervision. Supervision, by the way, which seems to have gone on permanent lunch break. But the chaos didn't stop there. There was the time he called a cave rescuer a pedo guy on Twitter. The rescuer had criticized Musk's miniature submarine, which Musk had built to help trapped boys in a Thai cave. The court ruled in Elon's favor, but the whole situation felt like a superhero showing up late to a rescue mission with a gadget no one asked for, then getting mad that people weren't clapping. And, speaking of critics, Elon collects enemies like NFTs. Journalists, he calls them liars and puppets. Regulators, he trolls them online. Labor unions, he says their demands could destroy progress. The guy once challenged Vladimir Putin to a fistfight. Not metaphorically, he actually tweeted the challenge. His personal life is no less explosive. Divorces, public fallouts, estranged children. One of his kids changed her last name to cut all ties. Another reportedly refuses to speak to him. Grimes, the mother of several of his children, once described their co-parenting dynamic as surreal and complicated, which is probably the most polite way to describe having babies with a man who names them after math equations. Meanwhile, competitors aren't just catching up, they're gunning for his throne. Jeff Bezos is building rockets. Chinese EV companies are scaling like wildfire. Apple might be secretly developing a car. And while Elon races to colonize Mars, people are asking if he's even qualified to manage Earth. The problem is that Elon doesn't stop. Can't stop. His brain is a particle accelerator, smashing ideas together at speeds that break everything around him. He's either going to revolutionize civilization or burn it down trying. And in this whirlwind of ambition, conflict, and ego, the question becomes, is he still the hero of his own story? Or has he become the very villain he once set out to defeat? Here's where everything hits maximum velocity. Elon Musk has always been a man at war with limits, with convention, with anyone who dares to tell him no. But over the past few years, that war has reached a fever pitch, spilling into every corner of his life. The very qualities that made him a legend, obsession, defiance, unpredictability, are now shaking the foundations of his empire. Let's start with the Twitter debacle. In what can only be described as the world's most expensive impulse buy, Elon dropped over $40 billion to purchase the platform that had become his personal megaphone. His stated mission? To restore free speech. What happened instead? Mass layoffs. Verified checkmarks turned into a paid subscription service. Advertisers fleeing. Chaos in the moderation system. At one point, someone paid $8 to impersonate a pharmaceutical company and tweeted that insulin was now free, wiping billions off the company's stock in a matter of hours. And Elon? He just kept tweeting. Memes, polls, accusations, random thoughts at 3 in the morning. It was like watching your dad take over your favorite nightclub and immediately start DJing dubstep remixes of conspiracy theories. People began to ask, had the visionary finally gone rogue? Was he still building the future? Or just playing a billionaire version of Twitter, LARP? His fans said he was shaking things up. His critics said he was unraveling. And the world watched, addicted, horrified, amused. Meanwhile, Tesla, the golden goose, began to wobble. Quality control issues popped up. Consumer Reports dropped the Moon OS from their recommended list. Elon's aggressive pricing strategies tanked profit margins. His increasingly political tweets turned some longtime supporters away. And Wall Street? They weren't thrilled. Tesla's stock took a beating. And while he was trying to understand the universe was getting real confused by him. His reputation as a free-thinking genius was being overshadowed by late-night tweet storms, awkward interviews, and the eerie feeling that the man building rockets might also be spiraling in slow motion. Even his employees began to lose faith. Whistleblowers stepped forward, describing toxic work environments. Lawsuits piled up discrimination claims, labor violations, safety concerns. One former Tesla worker described the factory as a place where people get hurt and no one cares. Another said racial slurs were normalized. And yet, despite all of this, the rockets still launch. The cars still sell. The satellites still orbit. Neuralink just got FDA approval for human trials. Starship is closer than ever to sending humans beyond the moon. There's an undeniable brilliance burning at the center of this maelstrom. But that brilliance comes with a cost. Because here's the real climax of the Musk story. The realization that he's no longer David fighting Goliath. He is Goliath now. He's the establishment, the trillion-dollar disruptor. And the higher he climbs, the less oxygen there is, the lonelier it gets. That's the climax. Not the explosions, not the lawsuits, not the memes. The real climax is this. Elon Musk is no longer trying to change the world. He is the world now. And it turns out, that's a terrifying place to be. So what happens after the storm? Elon Musk, for all his cosmic ambition, remains painfully human. And that humanity shows most clearly in the aftermath, in the quiet moments, after a chaotic tweet, after a legal battle settles, after a launch succeeds or fails. The noise fades, and what's left is a man pacing alone in the control room, still trying to outthink the universe. The drama slows down but never stops. Tesla stabilizes, then wobbles again. SpaceX celebrates a milestone, then faces another explosion. Twitter becomes X, but no one really knows what that means. Not even Elon. Investors regroup. Employees adjust. The world adapts. It always does. Musk doesn't crash. He recalibrates. He never truly wins. He endures. That's the reality behind the legend, not a superhero saving humanity with tech and memes, but a flawed, exhausted man trying to build a future while barely holding on to the present. Elon Musk's story is a reminder that genius and chaos often walk hand in hand. His vision to change humanity's future is breathtaking, but it comes with immense personal sacrifice and turmoil. The man who shoots for Mars also struggles with earthly battles, lawsuits, public scrutiny, fractured relationships, and the constant threat of failure. Being Elon Musk means living in extremes, towering success and crushing setbacks, admiration and scorn, innovation and controversy. It shows us that no matter how powerful or wealthy you become, you are never immune to human flaws and struggles. His journey challenges us to think about what true success means. Is it measured by rockets launched or tweets sent? By billions earned or connections lost? Perhaps the real story is about resilience, how to keep moving forward when the whole world watches your every misstep. In the end, Musk is more than a billionaire or a tech icon. He is a human being wrestling with ambition, legacy, and the messy reality of life under a microscope. And maybe that is why his story sucks, because it is deeply, painfully, and unavoidably real. If you made it this far, you're officially part of the Musk saga. Welcome to the roller coaster. What do you think? Is Elon a genius saving humanity, or just a billionaire juggling way too many flaming rockets? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because I want to know your take. And if you enjoyed this wild ride through ambition, chaos, and Twitter meltdowns, hit that subscribe button so you never miss a story that makes you think, laugh, and maybe cringe a little.